Imagine facing a day when nothing can unsettle you. The world around you swirls in chaos, unexpected problems arise, people question you, obstacles materialize, but you remain unmoved. Isn't this what we all seek? A profound strength to withstand whatever comes without losing our calm. The philosophy of Stoicism offers precisely that, a pathway to inner resilience, enabling us to navigate through life's storms without surrendering our peace of mind. Stoicism teaches that while external events may remain unpredictable, our response to them can be a source of unshakable stability. This video will explore principles inspired by the ancient Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who believed in transforming adversity into strength. Epictetus proposed that our reactions, rather than the events themselves, shape our lives. Today, let's delve into these principles, each one crafted to cultivate resilience and mastery over our own minds. We'll explore how to build this inner fortress, starting with learning to listen, releasing attachment to what we cannot control, and recognizing the true wealth that lies within. As you journey through each principle, consider, what would life be like if nothing external held the power to disturb your peace? Stick around until the end, as the final principles will reveal the core essence of this timeless philosophy. Let's begin with the roots of resilience and see where this journey leads. 1. Embrace inner resilience, rooted like a tree in the storm. When life sends turbulent winds your way, do you find yourself swaying, or do you stand firm? Imagine yourself as a tree caught in a fierce storm. The branches may sway wildly, the leaves may scatter in the wind, yet the trunk remains rooted deeply, unaffected at its core. This vision embodies the Stoic ideal of resilience, being firmly grounded despite external chaos. Stoicism teaches us that by remaining centered and rooted, we can face any adversity without losing our peace of mind. To act as if nothing bothers you is not to deny the existence of challenges. Rather, it is a conscious choice to protect your inner self from external disruptions. The storms of life will pass, and with each passing storm, you become more resilient. By training yourself to remain grounded, you begin to see the value in every hardship. Imagine the possibilities. What might you achieve if you could face every storm without fear? Epictetus, a former slave who rose to become one of Stoicism's most respected teachers, believed that true strength comes not from external power, but from mastering one's reactions. Each challenge, every difficult moment, serves as a teacher in your path to becoming unshakable. When we adopt this perspective, our hardships become training grounds for building resilience. You are no longer simply enduring difficulties. You are fortifying yourself with every test. Do you let small inconveniences disturb your peace, or do you remain steadfast, like the tree with roots reaching deep into the earth? This resilience does not deny that storms exist, but it empowers you to weather them with grace and inner strength. Each hardship becomes an opportunity to deepen your self-control, and each setback a chance to fortify your resolve. Through Stoicism, we learn to see that resilience lies within us, waiting to be cultivated. Just as a tree draws strength from its roots, we too can draw strength from a grounded mind and a calm spirit. Imagine the freedom this would bring. No longer ruled by the unpredictability of external events, you become the master of your own mind. With each challenge faced, you build a legacy of inner strength that can withstand any storm. Reflect on this. How might you deepen your roots so that external events lose their power to sway you? Each time you center yourself amid chaos, you are nurturing this inner resilience. Embrace it, for it is a gift that will serve you well on your journey. And as we journey onward, we shall explore how the art of listening, a simple but often overlooked practice, plays a crucial role in building this strength. 2. Listen twice as much as you speak. The wisdom of silence. How often do we miss the wisdom around us because we are too focused on our own thoughts and words? To practice Stoicism means to recognize the power of listening, an act that deepens understanding and nurtures our inner peace. Epictetus famously remarked that we have 2 ears and only 1 mouth, implying a simple yet profound truth. Nature itself guides us to listen more than we speak. In the chaos of daily life, this principle of listening becomes a powerful tool for remaining calm, receptive, and wise. Listening, in Stoic terms, is not merely about hearing words. It's about being fully present, absorbing what others have to say without judgment or interruption. When we listen carefully, we gather insight not only from others, but from the world around us. Each word, each observation becomes an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to sharpen our understanding. As Stoics, we should aim to cultivate a quiet mind, one that receives more than it projects. This receptive state protects us from hasty reactions and allows us to respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively. Ask yourself, how often do I truly listen to those around me? Do I let their words sink in, or do I find myself formulating a response before they've even finished speaking? This habit of anticipating our own response, of prioritizing our voice over another's, weakens our ability to connect, to empathize, and ultimately, to grow. Through attentive listening, we begin to appreciate others' perspectives, and we free ourselves from the need to dominate conversations. In a way, every time we listen intently, we practice humility, a core tenet of Stoic thought. Consider the strength that comes with listening. A quiet mind, tuned to the voices of others, is less likely to be disturbed by trivial concerns. When we become genuinely interested in what others have to say, our focus shifts outward, and the pressures of our inner thoughts begin to soften. In doing so, we develop a calm that can withstand criticism, disagreement, or even hostility. Listening becomes an exercise in patience, training us to accept things as they are, rather than as we wish them to be. In this practice, we realize the value of silence. To listen is to engage in a form of stillness, a moment when our mind ceases to produce and instead absorbs. This silence is not empty. It is full of awareness, of openness. Epictetus teaches us that in these moments of silence, we often find the insights we need to move forward with clarity and purpose. Listening then becomes a way to stay grounded, preventing us from reacting impulsively or being swept up in our emotions. This principle also encourages us to observe the wisdom that lies in simplicity. Often, when we are silent, when we refrain from adding our opinions or judgments, we gain clarity. The Stoics understood that to live well, one must sometimes let go of the need to be heard. When we do so, we open ourselves to the vast wisdom of the world, learning from both its beauty and its challenges. In practice, listening teaches us patience, humility, and acceptance. By paying careful attention to what others share, we deepen our understanding of human nature and, in turn, strengthen our own character. The more we listen, the more we realize how much there is to learn and how much we can gain by simply observing, absorbing, and reflecting. Reflect on this for a moment. How different might your life be if you approached each interaction with the intent to listen rather than to respond? What if, instead of being driven to share your thoughts, you were driven by a curiosity to understand others? In this simple yet profound shift, you may find a peace that eludes those who constantly seek to make their voices heard. Next, we will explore another essential principle that builds upon this foundation: the importance of detaching from what we cannot control, freeing ourselves from unnecessary suffering. 3. Detach from what you cannot control, freeing yourself from unnecessary suffering. How much of our worry is spent on things we can't influence? We stress over what others think, dwell on potential misfortunes, and feel powerless in the face of events we cannot change. Stoicism teaches that true freedom comes not from controlling the world, but from releasing our attachment to what lies beyond our influence. Epictetus believed that our power resides only within our choices and responses, not in external events themselves. To live with peace, we must learn to distinguish between what is ours to shape and what we must let go. This principle of detachment is not about indifference or apathy. Rather, it is a deliberate practice of focusing on what we can change, our thoughts, attitudes, and actions, while releasing the burden of what is beyond our grasp. Reflect for a moment. How much stress do you experience because of things that lie outside your control? By worrying about them, do they change? Epictetus encourages us to recognize that our mental and emotional energy is precious. Wasting it on matters beyond our influence not only drains us, but also detracts from our ability to manage the things we can control. Consider the simple example of the weather. If you plan a day outdoors and it begins to rain, your instinct may be frustration or disappointment. Yet, does your displeasure alter the rain? The Stoic would suggest asking, what is within my control here? Perhaps it is adjusting your plans or embracing the rain as part of the day's experience. By redirecting our focus from the uncontrollable to the controllable, we become adaptable and resilient. Through this practice, we become like sailors who, rather than cursing the wind, learn to adjust their sails. This detachment also applies to people's perceptions and judgments. Often, we seek validation or approval, shaping our actions to please others or avoid criticism. But in doing so, we surrender our peace to the unpredictable opinions of others. Epictetus wisely reminds us that while we can control our actions, we cannot control how others interpret them. Imagine the freedom that comes with understanding that another's praise or blame is not a reflection of your worth, but of their perspective. When we detach from needing approval, we begin to act with authenticity and integrity. Detaching from what we cannot control also frees us from the grip of fear. Much of our anxiety stems from the what-ifs in life. What if something goes wrong? What if I fail? What if I lose? Stoicism encourages us to face these fears with calm realism, acknowledging their existence but refusing to be dominated by them. After all, the future is uncertain, and many events are beyond our prediction or influence. By letting go of the need to control outcomes, we release ourselves from the agony of fearing what may never come. The practice of detachment invites us to embrace life as it unfolds, accepting that while we may set intentions, the results are ultimately beyond our command. This does not mean we stop caring or trying. It means we release the expectation that things must turn out a certain way. In doing so, we find peace in both success and failure, recognizing that our efforts matter more than the outcomes. Each day becomes an exercise in focusing on what we can change, responding to each moment with purpose and clarity. Reflect on this question. What if, starting today, you let go of one thing beyond your control? What if you approached life not with resistance, but with acceptance, freeing yourself from the unnecessary weight of worry? This practice of detachment does not make life easier, but it makes us stronger. It empowers us to face reality with serenity, knowing that true freedom lies not in changing the world, but in choosing how we respond to it. As we move forward, we shall look at a complementary practice, preparing for adversity, so that when challenges arise, we meet them not with fear, but with readiness. 4. Prepare for life's adversities. Embrace the power of readiness. Imagine for a moment that you could face every challenge in life with calm preparedness. How different would your experience be if, instead of reacting in shock or fear, you met each difficulty with readiness? Stoicism teaches that expecting life's adversities rather than fearing them is a source of strength and calm. Epictetus emphasized the importance of mental preparation, not because he wanted us to dwell on negative possibilities, but because he saw acceptance as the foundation of inner resilience. To prepare for life's adversities is to acknowledge that setbacks, losses, and challenges are inevitable parts of the human experience. Rather than spending our days hoping they never occur, Stoicism advises us to develop a mindset of preparedness. The Stoic practice of premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils, is a mental exercise in which we envision possible challenges and prepare our minds to face them. This does not mean that we become pessimistic or that we anticipate failure. Instead, it means we strengthen ourselves by facing the reality that life will, at times, be difficult. Ask yourself, how often do you worry about the unknown, fearing potential losses or failures? Would these fears diminish if you trained yourself to accept adversity as a natural aspect of life? By mentally rehearsing life's difficulties, you begin to build coping strategies in advance. For instance, if you consider the possibility of financial hardship, you might prepare by cultivating a frugal mindset or building an emergency fund. If you anticipate personal setbacks, you could develop the practice of mindfulness, grounding yourself in the knowledge that inner peace does not depend on external conditions. This preparation extends beyond specific challenges to encompass a broader acceptance of life's uncertainties. The Stoics teach us that while we cannot predict every detail of what the future holds, we can anticipate that it will contain both joy and sorrow, success and failure. By acknowledging this reality, we eliminate the element of surprise that often leads to panic or distress. When adversity strikes, you may feel the impact, but you will not be overwhelmed by it. Rather, you will be prepared, knowing that you have anticipated this very moment. Epictetus believed that by preparing for adversity, we protect ourselves from the kind of suffering that arises from denial or shock. Imagine the strength you would embody if you could look at every challenge and say, "I was ready for this." This mindset does not diminish the difficulty of the experience, but it changes how deeply it affects you. With each trial, you are not merely enduring, you are evolving, becoming more resilient, more equipped to handle whatever life sends your way. Consider also the benefit of facing adversity with a sense of purpose. When you prepare for the possibility of failure or hardship, you do not shrink in fear. Instead, you approach life boldly, accepting risks and challenges with the understanding that setbacks are simply part of the path. This readiness gives you the freedom to act, to dream, and to pursue goals without the constant dread of what may go wrong. You realize that adversity is not an enemy but a teacher, guiding you to cultivate resilience and wisdom. Reflect on this question. How might your life change if you expected challenges rather than feared them? Would you become less anxious, more accepting, and even more courageous? By training ourselves to anticipate life's tests, we remove their power to unsettle us. We face them calmly, acknowledging them as part of the journey, and in doing so, we develop a quiet, unshakable strength. As we move forward, let us look at the importance of aligning ourselves with positive influences, those who uplift and inspire us, to reinforce our resilience and determination. 5. Surround yourself with positive influences. Strengthen your spirit with uplifting company. Who surrounds you in your daily life? Do they uplift you, energize you, and encourage you to become your best self? Or do they drain your spirit and cloud your mind with negativity? Stoicism teaches that the people we choose to associate with have a profound impact on our state of mind. Epictetus, among other Stoic thinkers, advocated for surrounding ourselves with those who bring out the best in us, people whose presence enriches our lives and strengthens our character. Think of it this way. Just as a garden flourishes when it is nurtured by sunlight and rich soil, so too does the human spirit thrive when surrounded by positivity and encouragement. We are constantly influenced by those around us, whether we realize it or not. A friend who fosters kindness, a mentor who encourages resilience, or a colleague who embodies integrity. Each of these people adds to our growth and well-being. On the other hand, people who are steeped in negativity, who gossip, complain, or tear others down, often infect us with the same energy. In Stoic terms, they can hinder our path toward tranquility and virtue. Consider this. How often have you felt discouraged, anxious, or even unmotivated because of someone's influence? Perhaps a friend's cynicism made you doubt yourself, or a co-worker's relentless complaining cast a shadow over your day. Epictetus reminds us that we must guard our minds against such influences. Choosing our company wisely is not only an act of self-care, but also a Stoic practice of protecting our inner peace. When we align ourselves with individuals who share similar values, we reinforce our commitment to resilience, virtue, and growth. This doesn't mean avoiding every person with differing views or experiences. Rather, it means being mindful of how we let others affect us. When we surround ourselves with people who inspire us to be better, we naturally start embodying those traits ourselves. Positive influences remind us of our potential and push us to rise above challenges rather than succumb to them. In their presence, we feel energized, motivated, and capable of facing adversity without being defeated by it. Ask yourself, who are the people in my life who bring positivity and wisdom? Are they the ones I spend the most time with? Stoicism teaches that we should actively seek out the company of those who lift us up and guide us toward a life of purpose. Sometimes, this may mean limiting time with those who drain us, or even parting ways with relationships that hinder our growth. While this may seem difficult, it is a necessary step to protect our inner peace and cultivate a life of resilience. In this light, friendship becomes more than just companionship. It becomes a path to self-improvement. True friends, in Stoic thought, are not just those who comfort us, but those who challenge us to uphold our values. They help us refine our character, not by offering superficial praise, but by encouraging us to pursue what is noble and good. Imagine a friendship where both individuals are committed to growth, where each encounter strengthens resolve, sharpens the mind, and deepens mutual respect. This is the Stoic vision of friendship, a relationship that fosters virtue and elevates both people. Reflect for a moment. What would change if you dedicated yourself to building these kinds of friendships? If you sought out people who, by their example, encouraged you to be a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. In doing so, you create a circle of positive influence that fortifies you against life's challenges. Your companions become a source of strength, and you, in turn, inspire them to walk the same path of integrity and peace. Let us carry this thought forward as we move to the next principle, exploring how living a life of simplicity can free us from unnecessary burdens, allowing us to focus on what truly matters. 6. Live simply and avoid attachment to wealth. Finding freedom in simplicity. Have you ever noticed how much energy we spend pursuing things we believe will bring happiness, yet often find ourselves unfulfilled once we attain them? In Stoicism, wealth and possessions are seen not as goals, but as potential distractions from our true purpose. Epictetus and the Stoics teach us that while external success and comfort are not inherently bad, the relentless pursuit of wealth can easily become a trap, binding us to a cycle of never-ending desires. To live simply is to liberate ourselves from the tyranny of excess and unnecessary complexity. Stoicism invites us to examine our attachments to material wealth, asking us to question whether they serve us or if, in fact, we are serving them. What does wealth mean if it constantly requires upkeep, maintenance, and worry over its potential loss? By embracing simplicity, we step off the treadmill of consumption, reclaiming our energy for what truly matters: inner peace, virtue, and meaningful connections with others. Ask yourself, what would change in your life if you chose simplicity over luxury? Would your days be less stressful, your thoughts clearer, and your heart lighter? Stoicism does not demand that we renounce all material comforts, but it does urge us to evaluate our priorities and to let go of the attachment to wealth as a primary source of fulfillment. True wealth, Epictetus reminds us, lies not in what we possess, but in our freedom from excessive desire, and in the contentment we find in what is already within our grasp. Consider the pressures that often come with wealth. A more luxurious life requires greater effort to sustain. It demands time, money, and often a mental cost that takes us away from the things that nurture our inner peace. Each material desire satisfied breeds new desires, leading us to seek more, often leaving us feeling less fulfilled than before. By choosing simplicity, we regain control over our time and mental energy. We free ourselves from the need to constantly acquire and instead find contentment in less. Living simply also means that we gain resilience. If we are not dependent on a life filled with luxuries, we become more adaptable to life's changes. Imagine a situation where you suddenly face a financial setback. For someone who has built their happiness around wealth and luxury, this would be devastating. But for the Stoic who has embraced simplicity, who has trained themselves to find satisfaction in the basics, this setback would not rob them of peace. They would adapt, accepting the change with calmness and poise. Reflect on this. How much of your stress comes from the things you feel you must have or maintain? What might life look like if you no longer felt burdened by the need for more? By simplifying, you eliminate the unnecessary, creating space in your life for what truly matters. When we are not busy maintaining excess, we can turn our focus inward, cultivating virtues that wealth alone cannot buy: wisdom, resilience, and contentment. Living simply also brings us closer to nature and to ourselves. When we stop defining ourselves by what we own, we rediscover who we are at our core. This simplicity is a pathway to freedom, a life unburdened by the weight of possessions and instead rich in purpose and clarity. Stoicism teaches us that there is strength in being able to let go, to detach from the things that do not serve our higher values. True contentment, after all, comes not from what we hold in our hands, but from what we nurture within our hearts. As we embrace this simplicity, let us reflect on the relationships that enrich our lives, moving on to the next principle where we explore the value of genuine friendships, connections that withstand the test of time, regardless of material wealth or status. 7. Value true friendships over material success, investing in lasting connections. What remains with us when material wealth fades? When all the trophies, titles, and possessions are set aside, what truly endures? In Stoicism, the answer lies in genuine friendships, bonds that sustain us through both joy and hardship. Epictetus and the Stoics viewed friendship as a source of resilience and support, a type of wealth that cannot be lost in the same way as material possessions. To prioritize friendship over material success is to choose a life of richness that no fortune can provide. Consider how much of our energy is directed toward achieving success, often defined by wealth and status. Yet, these things can be fleeting, dependent on circumstances beyond our control. Stoicism reminds us that true wealth is found not in what we accumulate, but in the depth of our relationships. Unlike material possessions, friendships offer warmth, encouragement, and strength that remain with us even in times of adversity. Think of a friend who has stood by you in difficult times. Was their support not more valuable than any material comfort? This Stoic perspective on friendship emphasizes quality over quantity. A few true friends, individuals who are loyal, honest, and supportive, are worth infinitely more than a crowd of superficial acquaintances. True friends encourage us to grow, challenge us to be better, and provide us with an anchor when life feels uncertain. They remind us of our values, offering perspective when we might otherwise lose ourselves in the pursuit of success or status. This type of friendship is not built overnight. It requires time, sincerity, and mutual respect. Ask yourself, who are the people in your life who bring you genuine joy and strength? Do you invest in these relationships with the same dedication that you might give to professional success? Stoicism teaches that cultivating meaningful relationships is a form of self-care and personal growth. By valuing these connections, we enrich our lives in ways that money cannot achieve. Each moment spent with a true friend is an investment in happiness and resilience, a wealth that remains even if other forms of success fade away. Moreover, true friendship, according to Stoicism, has the power to shape our character. Friends who embody qualities we admire can inspire us to cultivate those same virtues. Through friendship, we can learn patience, empathy, and humility. Good friends challenge us to rise above pettiness, to act with integrity, and to find strength in adversity. In their company, we are reminded of what truly matters, and we become more capable of facing life's challenges with dignity. Think of how different life would be if we cherished and prioritized these relationships, not merely as companionships, but as opportunities for growth. When we seek out friendships grounded in mutual respect and understanding, we create a network of support that fortifies us. We also open ourselves to the joy of shared experiences, laughter, and empathy, all of which contribute to a fulfilling life. The Stoic approach to friendship is therefore one of conscious choice, to value people over possessions, connection over status. Reflect for a moment. How much richer could your life be if you invested in these genuine relationships, treating them as treasures beyond price? What might you gain by spending less time chasing wealth and more time nurturing the bonds that truly sustain you? In prioritizing friendship, you lay the foundation for a life of greater joy and resilience, a life where success is measured not by what you own, but by who stands with you when all else fades. As we cherish the wealth of true friendship, let us turn our attention to the next principle, the importance of taking control over our own reactions and understanding that it is our responses, rather than the events themselves, that shape our destiny. 8. Take ownership of your reactions, shaping your destiny through inner control. What if you realized that the true power over your life lies not in controlling events, but in mastering your reactions to them? This core Stoic insight teaches that while we may not have power over what happens to us, we hold immense power in choosing how we respond. Epictetus famously taught that it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Through Stoicism, we learn that our responses shape our destiny, transforming every challenge into an opportunity to grow in strength, wisdom, and inner peace. Imagine a situation where you face an unexpected setback, perhaps a career obstacle, a strained relationship, or a financial difficulty. Instinctively, we may feel frustration, anger, or fear. Yet Stoicism reminds us that these events themselves are neutral. It is our interpretation and response that determine their impact. When we react impulsively or let emotions rule, we surrender our power to the event. But when we choose a mindful, composed response, we reclaim control and act from a place of strength. Each time we make this choice, we become more resilient, more prepared to face future challenges with clarity. Ask yourself, how often have you let external events dictate your inner peace? Do you allow someone's criticism or an unfortunate circumstance to control your state of mind? Stoicism encourages us to see these moments as opportunities to practice self-mastery. In choosing our reactions, we are shaping our path. We are no longer mere participants in life. We become active agents, creators of our own experience. By mastering our reactions, we turn each moment into a stepping stone toward inner peace and fulfillment. This principle is especially powerful in times of conflict or adversity. When someone speaks harshly or behaves unfairly, our instinct may be to react defensively or with anger. Yet, Epictetus reminds us that by reacting in this way, we hand over control of our emotions to another person. Imagine the freedom that comes from refusing to be provoked. When we respond calmly, choosing not to let others dictate our emotions, we become immune to their influence. This immunity is not about ignoring reality, but about responding from a place of strength rather than weakness. Consider the practice of observing your thoughts before reacting. When faced with a challenging situation, take a moment to pause, reflect, and choose a response that aligns with your values. In this way, you build the habit of thoughtful action, turning every encounter into a chance to embody the qualities you aspire to: patience, compassion, resilience. Over time, these responses become second nature, transforming your life from within. Instead of being tossed by the waves of circumstance, you become anchored, grounded in your own principles. Reflect for a moment. How might your life transform if you approached each challenge with this sense of inner control? What would it feel like to live free from the pull of others' opinions, undisturbed by life's unpredictable changes? By mastering your reactions, you shape your experience of life, crafting a path defined by strength and peace rather than turbulence and regret. The Stoics teach us that this inner control is the foundation of true freedom, for nothing external can truly harm us if we retain mastery over our own mind. As you reach the end of these principles, you might feel a deeper understanding of how Stoicism can transform your approach to life. Each principle, embracing resilience, listening more, detaching from what you can't control, preparing for adversity, choosing positive influences, living simply, valuing friendship, and taking ownership of your reactions, is a tool to cultivate a life of purpose, peace, and inner strength. By embracing these principles, you are not merely adopting a philosophy. You are taking the first steps on a journey toward true freedom and mastery over yourself. Stoicism teaches that while the world may be unpredictable, our inner world can be a place of serenity, strength, and resilience. The storms of life will always come, but as Epictetus and the Stoics remind us, we have the power to remain steadfast, rooted in our values and grounded in our own strength. Take a moment to reflect on the wisdom of these principles and consider which one speaks most deeply to you. Which principle might you focus on this week, cultivating it as part of your daily life? Leave a comment sharing your thoughts, as each insight you bring adds to our collective understanding and growth. If you found value in this journey, remember to like the video, subscribe for more content on Stoicism and inner peace, and share this with others who might benefit from these powerful teachings. Thank you for being here, and may your path forward be one of resilience, peace, and enduring strength.